One character I haven't talked much about since the Rampage change is Skarbrand, of course. And, yeah, Skarbrand's always been pretty good if used well, kind of situationally. He's a big, expensive target to be shot, though. In land battles, that's often what would happen. But now that Rampage is guaranteed, right? This makes his rage-embodied, activatable area of effect, Rampage, very strong, right? Because you can guarantee any units that it hits will actually rampage, whereas before there were some conditions where they actually would not rampage. But yeah, 35-meter effect range, only 15-second duration, but against Bretonnia, let's see how it can do as these, yeah, Khorne bros try and hold out against the Knights. Got a Bloodbrute Behemoth plus Skarbrand, Minotaurs of Khorne for some more anti-large, and then just a line of Marauders for some meat. As for Bretonnia, we've got Lewin up in the sky, Grail Knights, Grail Guardians, and Hippogriffs. I think this is actually technically a tournament rule break. I want to say I think you're only allowed 2 Grail tier units, maybe even 1 now, I'm not sure. And Solor of Life, Pox Arrows, Spearmen at Arms as well, and some mobs up front. So immediately we're going to see the Hippogriffs and Lewin attacking the far side, just munching some Marauders. And the Minotaurs will countercharge on in. And see Skarbrand out in the distance there, taking a nice hill position to be able to then charge down to the flank of Bretonnia as the Minotaurs fight it out on this near side. They're going to do a decent job against the Hippogriffs as the Hippogriffs try and disengage, but they are screening now through some low-tier spears, shooting in some pox arrows, so pretty good stuff so far there. You have some Marauder Horsemen of Khorne also closing from the woods. Vanguarded out in the corner. I don't know why I'm getting so tongue-tied today, guys. But anyway, Sword of Khorne over on the far side from Lewin to try and debuff melee defense, and especially like the armor off of these Minotaurs, considering they are 70 armor, as opposed to the regular Minotaur armor, much better. So that Sword of Khorne definitely helping to get some value, as 2 Minotaurs there suffer pretty badly in that engagement against low-tier spears and archers. Super cost-effective, but yeah, here we go. Now we see the Giant Enrage. Skarbrand just pulls everything. Multiple Peasant Arrows, a unit of Grail Knights, Spearmen at Arms, and because they immediately charge Skarbrand, that basically means they're disengaging from the Marauders. The Marauders are going to be getting free hits this entire time, and even though it's a very short duration, it just kind of pulls Brettonnia's whole formation apart in a really awkward way, where these 2 big anti-large monsters can then get in and start to get some damage done. Damage is certainly being done on the Minotaurs as well. We see a Horn of Khorne here activated just to really juice that melee attack. 109 on Skarbrand. Definitely going to be max hit chance on a lot of targets here. But, yeah, so far, I mean, Khorne's definitely suffering. They are not the tankiest of factions, and certainly taking quite a bit of damage here, but also dishing out a serious amount of damage in return. And I haven't seen... So far, I haven't really been paying attention to where the Damsel's been prioritizing her healing, but let's keep an eye out for that as we kind of circle around here. Check from Brettonnia's perspective, Royal Hippogriff Knights trying to find good places to countercharge in. Maybe try and terrify away these Minotaurs, get a nice rear attack there. Horsemen of Khorne also continuing to maneuver, try and use their axes as much as possible. They'll get good opportunities for rear charges potentially as well, but you do need to be careful about using them too early. You want to use up as much of that ammunition as possible. Maybe just chase some routing units for now with them. Same thing. Khorne Warhounds charging in from this side, saturating in some extra bodies here as Skarbrand continues to rampage. Yeah, so far, Brettonnia hasn't been able to form up like a cohesive force to try and kill Skarbrand, and now he hits that another Rage Embodied. Again, it's just going to kind of awkwardly just screw up the attack orders of everything in here and prevent them from pulling out and marshalling correctly, right? So definitely Skarbrand, I think he'll see a lot more use in the future now that he has an ability that I would consider meta for Khorne. I mean, 15 seconds guaranteed rampage in an area of effect, although Skarbrand is very expensive. In this particular kit, he was brought here with just Rage Embodied only. It's quite cost-effective, I would think. Granted, cost-effective, I think he's probably still like 3,000 gold-ish, we'll see. But we'll check his cost after the fact. But definitely seems quite a bit stronger. And Khorne, in general, not having a lot of spells or, you know, active abilities to really modify even like buffs and debuffs. They're pretty limited in what they can do. Having such a strong ability on kind of core character, right? One of their legendary lords. Does feel pretty good, and I do think, again, especially in matchups where Skarbrand's still not at huge risk of getting shot, but even in matchups where Skarbrand's at risk of getting shot, potentially if you can collapse someone's backline like what we saw here, rampage their archers and their anti-large units and just kind of, you know, mess up their entire formation, seems potentially like extremely strong disruption. But at this point, taking a look across the battlefield, there's not a lot for Bretonnia that can directly challenge Skarbrand and the Blood Brute, especially together. It's a lot of single entity killing power here. Lewin's going to give it the old try, but really he needs these Hippogriff Knights and like all his remaining value pieces in order to fight effectively here. But Lewin's definitely going to give it a go, and with Sword of Khorne, it will be debuffing these single entities so that the line troops here, even the lowly men-at-arms, can get some damage on Skarbrand and the Blood Brute. But Sword of Khorne's going to be somewhat limited here. We'll see. Hippogriff Knights are closing now, as are the handful of remaining Marauders. But Lewin being able to pull away there is pretty key. Get back up in the air and continue to heal himself. Skarbrand still, you know, I honestly... Some people are saying Skarbrand should have Gore Feast, and I've probably said that myself in the past. Now, with his Rampage ability being what it is, I'm not sure. If Skarbrand were to get Gore Feast, he would immediately become, like, truly meta, I think, in almost every matchup. I don't know. You guys can maybe correct me if you feel differently. Probably still at risk of getting absolutely just pin-cushioned and filled with bullets in other matchups, specifically. But, I don't know. If you were to have Gore Feast, like, I can't think of especially melee-oriented matchups, but really even sort of soft missile matchups, like... This one certainly, maybe like greenskins, right? Like factions which can take strong missiles potentially, but also can go in a number of different ways. I still probably wouldn't take him against someone even like Dark Elves potentially, or certainly, you know, one of the net and shoot factions like the Empire even, or yeah, there's a few others where the missiles would be a key factor for sure, but I don't know. You guys will have to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Definitely impressed so far, but not out of the woods yet, as Skarbrand takes a charge from Lewin. Blood Brute's going to have a really nice avenue for rear charge, and it does a devastating kind of triple attack twirl there. Skarbrand pops the Enrage at a very opportune time, tactically just forcing Lewin to take these extra hits. Super important. And Lewin actually does get routed there by Skarbrand and the Blood Brute, and that's going to be an absolute dagger to the balance of power. Yeah, looks like those Grail Guardians had been put in tactical reserve somewhere out in the woods, which definitely happens on this map, this Tower of Hoeth map. But with Lewin gone now, we'll fast forward through the rest as Brettonnia's leadership. There's no way they're going to hold up. Certainly don't have the killing power. He'll Skarbrand and the Blood Brute at this point, so maybe Skarbrand by himself. Let's see if he falls to the Grail Guardians here. Looks like he'll probably survive. Yep, there it is. So... quite an impressive display from Skarbrand, I have to say. I mean, triple Grail unit is pretty serious, and they all got pretty good value, kind of notwithstanding. But, yeah, Skarbrand, 3,000 value on himself, plus the tactical rampages, which were super important at various points in the battle. Blood Brute also pairs with him extremely well. It's a lot of single entity spend. That's like 6,000 points of single entities right here. So you gotta have a plan to use them well, but they definitely were used well here. Minotaurs also contributing nicely as well. Marauders are glorified meat shields, but hey, they do okay. 196 kills on the Khorne Marauder Horsemen as well. Not bad. Definitely not bad. 900 damage value on them. For Brettonnia's line troop side, one of the peasant archers gets 1,000 damage value for shooting Skarbrand and the Blood Brute, but it's just not enough missiles at the end of the day. And these other anti-large tools, like, they got some damage, but they took too much attrition against the Minotaurs, and more than that, weren't really able to form up, like, all three into a death blob to try and fight these two. With Sword of Khorne and with Lewin debuffing and fighting together with that death blob, would have been the best chance to try and take them out. From Brettonnia's perspective, tactically, like, okay, eliminate the Minotaurs, you know, and then move on to the single entities, focus them down, which certainly easier said than done, but definitely a fun one. Let's go ahead and just quickly finish up with some final thoughts about Mr. Skarbrand here. So again, Gore Feast, I'm still not certain on. That's certainly If any of you guys have opinions one way or the other, I'd be interested to see them down in the comments below. But he's 2500 base with just Rage Embodied, 2650, depending on your build setup too. You know, sometimes it's nice to be able to have the breath attack for you know, early side shot in a land battle, try and rack up some kills. Although if you're not really taking any of the kind of percentage increase weapon strength stuff, the getting numbers of kills doesn't matter as much. And I mean, certainly you can, like Slaughter and Carnage, if you're going to take any of his weapon strength stuff, Slaughter and Carnage is definitely the best one because it's the highest modifier and it's passive as well, so you don't have to activate anything. But I mean, 3000 is pretty serious. A more realistic kit, I think, with just Rage Embodied, 2650 is not too bad actually. Definitely paid for himself there, but even with the you know, more expensive kit, he would have paid for himself also. And then, of course, pairing with the Blood Root, which has its own passive healing, anti-large, massive target in and of itself. Definitely very interesting. You guys will have to let me know if you've used Skarbrand in this patch, what's been your experience rampaging him. And did I actually say who sent me that replay? I apologize to whoever sent me that. Let's see. Yes. Pigman, thank you very much, Pigman. Much appreciated. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.